What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle Hardcore. This is Gen 2 and we're on episode 85. I believe in the last video we were idling off on the Ancient Sanctuary and that is done. I think I had to gather up the weakness exploiter material to get this cape and that's done. So got that portion of everything done. I looked at it. I was looking at this a little bit earlier and let's see here. The dungeon itself, it took me 412 clears to get everything out of the dungeon. I have the pet, that's done. So we have a nice little 2% chance to double items globally, which is going to be pretty cool going forward. And I have all the items out of it. And I was kind of looking around earlier. I believe I now have all of the items from here because I've got the bundled protection body armor. I've got the perfect sight legs. That should be on my ranged character. So those two are done. And then if I go to this thing, the sharp Fletcher gloves, I have the weakness finder cape, which I've already got. Already talked about that. So the jungle's done. The lava lake, the burning amulet of charcoal, I probably have that. Blacksmith gloves, I definitely know I have. Burning embers book, I think I got that last. Burning protection material, I think that is this. No, that's the ward of flame. Burning protection plate legs, that's what that becomes. And then I think the Gret Yun drops the ward of flame material, which gets me this armor. So that's the lava lake. Lava lake is completely done. What did I say? The burning amulet of charcoal and book of embers. So if I go to the bank and I type in charcoal, ooh, I don't have that. So I will need to grind that one piece out. I don't have that. Okay. No big deal. I'll have to go get that. But basically, I have the jungle and the lava lake done. And then the Forsaken Tundra, I've definitely got the Frostwalker boots. I just went and ground out the Cool Winds gloves. That didn't take hardly any time at all. The polar bear, I've got the freezing touch material because I think that's what's equipped on, or that's what I can, I need to set that, but I believe that is done. Yeah, it's right here. So if I equip that onto here and then go and set that here, because I keep forgetting to actually set these things, that is done. And the Spectral Wolf, I have the ice swords. In fact, I have 5 of the ice swords because we're going to need 5 of them to upgrade. So they should be here and ready to go with that. So taking stock of where I am, I cannot get to the Foggy Lake yet. And the Ice Hydras, I'm actually not going to start just yet. These, I'm going to wait until I get into the Foggy Lake. That way I have 2 mythical monsters to go and attack, and then I'm going to bounce back and forth on my Slayer task. This is what I did on my standard account. It worked out really well. So basically you set up melee for this side and ranged for this side, and then just whichever one comes up as your Slayer task, you switch between the two. They both have, like this one, you're going to need, I believe, 5 Frost Shield amulets, and then on this side, you're going to need to get 100 of these Torrential Blast crossbow shards. The one thing you could do, and what I did on my standard account many times, was to re-roll the Slayer task because there's only 2 choices. So if you're on the Twin Sea Dragon Serpent and it finishes, it will go over to the Ice Hydra. If you don't feel like fighting the Ice Hydra, just re-roll it and it'll go right back into this. So that's a good little tactic to do. And that's what I'm going to do once I get through the next dungeon. So basically, aside from one little item on here, which I'll set that to go here in a little bit, but aside from one item, I've ground out all the Slayer stuff that I can. I will point out, as I close all these down, the Midnight Valley, although I can get into this now, these things are pretty thick. I want to get some better gear, and I also want to make sure that I have Slayer level of 120, because then I don't have to buy these little doodads all the time and keep it fueled up to go in there. So I am going to work on getting through the underground lava lake, and that will be the next thing I do. I need to spend some time working on that. I'll probably be able to go through it, and then what I'm going to do is come back on the flip side and go through the Foggy Lake, build up some gear in there, and get ready and level up. I really want to look into getting all 120s and get my Slayer maxed out. You know what I mean? I want to get everything done. I'd like to ultimately get all 120s so I can get the max skill cape. That is very beneficial to have because then you can just buy 5 of them. It It's not as good as the Cape of Completion. Of course, the full superior Cape of Completion is for all of it in the game. But there are reasons to keep the Cape of Completion if you have it and you use it. But the max skill cape gets you all the superior stuff wrapped in, which is very beneficial. So I'm working towards that. And I need to spend some quality time. Now that I've got my adventure account kind of rolling and doing its thing, I need to spend time back on this account. So when I got done with the Ancient Sanctuary, I looked at my skills, and you'll notice that all my non-combat skills, well, aside from Alt Magic, everything is 120. So I sat in on fire making. I'd been kind of working on it here and there. Fire making sucks. It still sucks. It's a horribly slow skill. I do have a bunch of mastery levels to finish off, but I have 120 fire making. So that's done. I can get the skill cape, which I theoretically I could use that cape to level up some of my other stuff, but I'm already at that point, so it's beyond that. I also worked on, we'll get to township here in a minute, but I also worked on cooking. That one's done. I think I bounced around, like I needed to finish up some mastery, so I have the full mastery done on this, and I made sure that while I was cooking and leveling this off, because I think I was at like 117, 118, somewhere in there, and when I got done with fire making, I'm like, well, I'm right there with cooking, so I just went in and finished it. And stupidly, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't have my fire making skill cape on, which would have helped these out a little better. But anyway, hindsight and all that. So this one's done. And then the only one that was left was astrology. So I thought, well, I've only got 5 levels left. And I thought this was going to take much longer than it did. This actually went by fairly quickly. I'd already mastered it. The full mastery pool is done. I've already got all the mastery done with this. The only thing I had left to do was finish off the last 5 levels. So that's all done. So any level 120 requirements we have is all going to be in combat, and we're about ready to finish up combat. So I also spun off into Alt Magic and did some Holy Invocation, and this really didn't, the XP is not that great. I think I was down really low on, or I was early into level 119, and I got it maybe over to where this S is. Like it would move really slowly. But on the plus side, I have like 20 some million prayer points. So I have a lot of prayer points. I wanted to finish this one off. So let's talk about Township really fast here. I had left Township at 105. That's what I've got written on my notes. I took Township from 105 to 120. I did this in about an hour. If memory serves, I don't think I sat down here one night, I was looking at this, and I thought, you know what? I'm getting all these other skills done. I just need to take the time and finish Township off. So what I did is I demolished some of the buildings that I didn't need anymore, the cool rocks or whatever all I had built. All the extra crap that I didn't need anymore, and I got it down to the bare minimum and built up all the town halls or whatever gives you the tax rate, and then just went to town. I started hitting the 288 button and just letting it rip. So I had like 19 some thousand ticks. Like it had sat here for a considerable amount of time. And I don't remember what my starting money was, but I had like 19,000 ticks, and I now have 8.5 billion gold, and I've spent some of that down. I think I had 9 at one point. But anyway, it says I've gained 6 billion gold from this. So yeah, I must have had like 2 or 3 billion. Anyway, I just kept letting this thing go, and I went from 105 to 120 in about an hour of doing nothing but this, and that's making about 4,000 XP per tick. So just because I had a sheer volume that I could just apply to it, and I now have a ton of money that I don't really need. What I really need is like Slayer coin and stuff like that, but I have a town that I can retool if I wanted to do other things. I have 50,000 storage units, so it's just ungodly. I can get some stuff out of here. Like if I wanted to go into the trader part, I can just run this thing and take stuff out. At this point where my town is, I'm not building anything because I don't want to have to deal with food. It's kind of like balanced fairly well. If I hit that button, it just goes and gives me money and it's all good. So I'm just going to leave this sit. I could go in here and take all the items out of this and end up with whatever I can get. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And that's done. So that's where we are. I have all 120s in non-combat stuff. I am working towards all 120s in combat, and because the expansion is so heavy with ranged and magic stuff for that side of the combat triangle, or those sides, however you want to say it, I'm very close. 119 is, I'm 91% of the way on ranged and 66% of the way on magic. So both of those are going to hit 120 real soon. Slayer's at 37%, so 120 real soon on that, and 74% of the way on hit points. So my melee is actually lagging behind quite a bit, and I'm going to have to stop and work on that. But I was looking at this earlier. I'm going to really need a serious amount of Slayer coin. There's 10 million there, 10 million there, 3 million there, so that's 23 million. And then if I come down here, this is like 9 million or 90 million that I need down here. So we're going to need a lot of Slayer coins. So that's probably what I'm going to do with my, at some point, that's probably what I'm going to do is turn my melee character loose on, say, maybe master or elite tasks, because I think he can just mow through all that stuff and just let him run. That'll build all these up a little bit. And then I can toggle this auto fight and just let it go. I think I did that with a standard account. I'll have to make sure that I don't die on here, but pretty much at the gear level that I'm at, it's not going to be an issue. So, and the reason that I have to do all of the Slayer gear, and actually I have to upgrade these too, but I actually like to run a full set of Slayer gear plus extra helmets for each one. That way, if you have to equip 3 items in here, your helmet, body, and passive for Slayer negation or whatever, it makes it doable. So, and some of the Slayer stuff we're going to be fighting is going to be pretty thick, especially once you get into this area here and like the Millennium Gate. This stuff all is really thick. So I'm going to have to, and there's a lot of negation. This one here, 190% lifesteal. That's some serious pain there that has to be negated. And these things here, this Midnight Valley kind of sucks too. So that's where we're going. So very good progress. I am very happy. And I kind of don't know what to do with myself now because all this is done. And I really only set combat when I sit down at my PC. I don't like going on my phone for combat, especially on my hardcore character, because I don't want to die and I don't want to accidentally attack the wrong thing or have the wrong style on. So I like to see what's going on and pay attention to it. And now that's all I'm going to do is combat. So I'm going to pick things like I got these mana cores spooled up or whatever. I'll go fight stuff like that and knock all that kind of crap out and whatever. So that's what I'm going to be doing is working on getting my combat skills finished off and that kind of thing, building up some Slayer coin, you know, the usual drill. I do need to get into the underground lava lake, and that will hopefully be this weekend. I might start that later this week. Like I said, the adventure count is kind of stable now, and it's kind of doing its own thing. I don't have to focus on it as much, so I can start working on this one a little bit more. Anyway, that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.